Good evening, everyone. So, our questions in this lecture is what sounds difficult or risky about using a spiritual assessment tool with your clients, and how do you address the difficulty or risk? Um, so, I think for me right now, I work juvenile justice, and I still plan on, even after obtaining my master's, hopefully. Hopefully, I make it through the program, anyways. But I still plan on working with youth, regardless, either way. And the youth that I work with has a strong sense of trauma in their background already. A lot of them comes into meeting me either not believing in God at all or being very angry toward God for all the things that they've already had to endure during their childhood. So I think for me, probably one of the hardest things about using a spiritual assessment tool with the juvenile justice youth is because they're already coming into it with very traumatic, very tough, very confusing situations or experiences. So, by us asking questions and talking about what they believe, and to a point, we do have to do this with all of our youth, anyways, on our risk needs assessment that we complete on these kiddos. There's a whole spirituality portion of it. But by asking them those questions and what keeps them going, sometimes we get a lot of pushback. They start feeling uncomfortable. They don't want to talk about their spirituality or their religion as they're more conformed, they're more private. So it's really hard to get them to open up. So if we say the wrong questions or ask the wrong questions, we might get a little bit of backlash, and it might, instead of helping build further rapport, it could break any trust that we're trying to build. As especially with the teens, they might feel that depending on what they state about their spirituality, about their beliefs, we're going to end up judging them. We're going to try to push our own beliefs upon them. I've had a lot of kids before that'll be like, don't even tell me to pray about something. And I'll be like, why would you think that that's what I'm going to tell you? And they're like, because that's what everybody tells me, but prayer doesn't work. And another thing is they might not even understand their own beliefs at this point, or their own religion that some of them likes to join into. And sometimes they just do it to be followers, to follow the crowd, what they're doing, even though that might not be what they actually feel. Our kids usually have already very negative experiences with anyone in an authoritarian role. So we have to be very careful about asking questions about spirituality that could make them feel pressured, or that could possibly even make them just shut down altogether. So we have to come at it with a very gentle approach to be able to get the answers we want. So we have to walk a very fine line, which makes it very difficult to use a spiritual assessment tool with our youth. Because if we say the wrong thing, or if we even put our opinions into it, it could create our youth to shut down, and it's going to make it very difficult for us to be able to gain the respect and the trust and to build that rapport to see a difference in our kiddos. I think to handle that risk, we can't just immediately go in and use a spiritual assessment outright, anyways. We have to be able to ask open ended questions and let them tailor their responses without them feeling pushed into their responses. We can do that by making them feel relaxed, being respectful toward them, and letting them know that if they don't feel comfortable, they don't have to open up to us at this point. We can give it their time. This is about them, this isn't about us. So, at the end of the day, they're the ones that's in control of how it goes, of how that conversation forms. Also, I think it's important to let them know that we're not trying to push anything on them. We're just trying to gather a better understanding of what makes them feel more comfortable, what they rely on to make them feel better when they're in type of a distress, and what they are able to use as a good coping skill, spiritual wise. I think by starting out just asking simple questions. Hey, what helps you get through your bad days, your hard days? What helps you when this happens or when that happens? Instead of mentioning God or other spiritual terms directly. So, once again, I just think that as long as we let our youth know that they're the ones in control, that this is on their own pace, that we are not here to judge, we are not here to push, that we just really care about them as a whole, and we just want them to be able to be the best selves that they can possibly be and be as healthy as they can be mentally, is how we're going to eliminate the risk. All right, guys, have a good day.